There are so many parts of the book of Genesis that are worth reading. The whole thing is incredible, and I would urge you to read the whole book of Genesis. I can only pick out a few things. Lots left out. The Tower of Babel, the story of Noah, uh, Jacob wrestling with an angel. I mean, just these incredibly important things that are the touchstones of Judeo Christian culture, civilization. But I picked out this sequence in Genesis. It really has to do with Abraham, Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah, and then in chapter 22, the call to sacrifice Isaac that Abraham receives from God. But let's look at Genesis 18 and 19 here, which is a very puzzling story, an incredible story, and I don't know what to say about it except that it's fascinating. Abraham is an interesting figure. He really is the beginning of everything. That is, he's the person with whom God makes the covenant. I mean, makes a covenant with Noah. But Abraham is really he's the father of the nation of the Israelites in a very interesting way, and he's really the beginning of this special relationship that God has with the Israelites, and it's an incredibly important figure. And chapter 18 begins with a visit, a very strange visit. I don't know what you make of it. It is a visit of strangers to a home, and in the ancient world, that meant a lot. The duties that you have to guests are incredible. I think in every civilization, they're incredibly important, and that you treat your guests well. And here we may have some notion of why, because they may turn out to be angels or God himself, right? I mean, you never know. So you better treat them well if they show up. But the Lord appeared to Abraham. Very interesting. The Lord appeared to Abraham by the oak of Mamre as he sat in the entrance of his tent while the day was growing hot. Looking up, he saw 3 men standing near him. When he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to greet them. And bowing to the ground, he said, and then, invites them in. So the Lord appears, but then these 3 human beings appear, and it's really puzzling, which is which. Maybe they're the same. Maybe the 3 men represent God. I don't know. But you treat them well, and he invites them in, and he makes sure that they get bread and meat and they're well fed. And then this incredibly interesting thing with his wife, because Abraham and Sarah, his wife, he's an old man, she's an old woman, and one of the men who's God or something, it's that sort of thing. Says, when I come back here next year, she'll have a child, and she laughs because her menstrual cycle is over. She's gone through menopause. And, but that's important because they do have a child. His name is Isaac, and this is the beginning of the Hebrew people, and incredibly important. And then, it becomes clear that these 3 men, or the Lord, or the angels, or all of them, they've come down for a purpose, and that has to do with this place, or these places, Sodom and Gomorrah, the cities of the plain, and the story of their destruction for whatever reason, is important. And God lets Abraham know that he's going to destroy these places because they're sinful. We don't know why they're sinful. They're just sinful, and God's going to wipe them out. And there's this incredible passage where Abraham really bargains with God to try to prevent him from doing this. Why? If they're sinful, are they all sinful? Would it be right for you to destroy them all for the sins of a few, and the righteous would get wiped out with the unrighteous? Abraham says to God in verse 23, will you really sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there were 50 righteous people in the city. Would you really sweep away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people within it? Far be it from you to do such a thing. To kill the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous and the wicked are treated alike. Far be it from you. Should you not judge all the world? Should not the judge of all the world do what is just? This opens up an incredible theme that will be pursued most closely in the very philosophical book of Job. If God is just, can he do that which is unjust? Is he not bound to always be just, or does he have the freedom to do whatever he wants because he's not bound by the rules of justice? This incredible theme in the Old Testament where these people were thinking about, the nature of God, the nature of their relationship with God. So in any case, it seems that Abraham is able to bargain God down to five, is it five righteous people? Or 20? Yeah, down to 20. But God goes ahead and destroys, I guess he couldn't find 20 or something. I don't know. He goes ahead and does destroy the cities of the plain, Sodom and Gomorrah. But then it switches over to the story of Lot. Now, Lot is, I believe, Abraham's nephew. I suppose he's living in Sodom. And then the angels or the men or whoever they are sort of show up at Lot's house. And then, well, things get even more complicated.